Depending on who you ask, immersive sim racing can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For some, it's about seeing how many pieces of gear they can fit on their rig. Others are quite happy with a pair of goggles and a wheel. For me, it's about how authentic can I make the rig feel to the actual car, and what level of POV racing can I deliver from it. For the last 9 months, I've been working on building a realistic cockpit that makes me believe I'm actually in the Porsche Cup car. So far it's been working out pretty well, but I can't help but think that there's just a few things missing. So today, we're turning the corner from building to refining, and we're gonna start by giving Cup Car 2.0 a facelift. Now for those of you who aren't familiar with it, this is VPG's 911 Cup Car wheel, and it very well may be the most expensive purchase I've ever made that wasn't a house or a car. With tax and shipping, this wheel came out to just under $2,000. But for somebody building a replica Cup Car rig, did I really have any choice? So the real question is, was it really worth spending more than I've spent on any other sim racing equipment in this entire room for one wheel? Let's talk about it. First off, this isn't a replica. The 911 Cup wheel is the actual 992.2 Cup Car wheel made in the same factory right alongside the wheels used in the actual race car. It uses the same authentic Porsche architecture, and it's produced with the same standards as the race car wheels. Then VPG just adds their sim racing electronics to it. Now, unlike most gimmicky replicas and collaborations you see from other companies, you can see VPG kept this one authentic and clean. They didn't put their VPG logo on the front of it. They used the actual Porsche emblem, and it looks completely authentic. As mentioned, since this is a Porsche manufactured wheel, there's not really any way to rate VPG on the design or the exterior build quality. But at the same time, there wouldn't be much to complain about anyways. The carbon fiber's flawless, the grips are slightly on the softer end, which makes them really comfortable to hold, and the wheel itself is extremely light, but completely rock solid even at high torque. Now as far as mounting goes, you guys can see the wheel's designed for a 50mm hub, but they do make this adapter to make it work with a 70mm hub. Only complaint I have about that is, as you can see, it adds quite a bit of a space in the wheel. And I did like the wheel position before adding it. So while I do want to adjust it, I may be changing wheelbases soon. So I'll be waiting to make that adjustment until that time, or until I know for sure what wheelbase I'm going to be running on the rig. Then as far as paddles and electronics go, you guys can see it's got a nice carbon fiber paddle on it. Good tactile click. And it's the same with the buttons. The buttons are pretty tactile, nice and firm. You could definitely feel when you're pressing them. And then these side rotary encoders have a really firm, solid click to them. Takes a bit of effort to turn them, so you don't have to worry about bumping them or spinning them while you're racing. The funky switches, same thing, nice and tactile. Even when you spin them, you get a good notchiness to them and you can feel that adjustment. And of course, you've got your ABS and traction control knobs up here, both of which also are nice and tactile. They got a good solid click to them. All of the buttons and functions of this wheel are things where you can really feel that you're hitting them, and you're not going to question it or have to look down at the wheel while you're trying to use it. One other thing I forgot to mention while covering the paddles is that the 911 Cup wheel also supports the VPG dual clutch mod. It's a wireless mod. You basically bolt it onto the back. It's magnetic and functional. I don't use these, so I didn't really think about it until after the fact, but I did want to circle back and just mention that they are available and it is supported. Now let's talk about the part that actually matters, kinda. What it's like to actually drive with this wheel. Going from the Simline GT3R, which I still maintain is a beautifully crafted replica, to the 911 Cup Car wheel was actually a crazy transition. I didn't realize how much detail I was actually missing from the weight of the wheel. I've actually had people tell me in the past that it didn't look like I was fighting the wheel enough, and now I see what they meant. Without changing any settings at all, I could tell the wheelbase was more responsive and I could feel a bit more torque than I'm used to. With the 911 Cup, things just feel a bit more raw and unhinged. And I'm sure it's a similar situation with the Formula wheels, but since I typically race GT3 or Rally, I haven't really taken much time to dabble with them, so it was a pretty big change for me. And of course, as I said before, the grips are a little bit soft, and even with some gloves on, I found them a little bit more comfortable than the solid leather I'm used to, and even a little bit more comfortable than Alcantara. I'm not really sure how they'll hold up for longevity, but for now, it's pleasantly welcomed. Now for those curious about compatibility, VPG's offered two solutions for connecting the wheelbase to the 911 Cup. For wheelbases with true third-party support, you have the option of using a 4-pin to standard or to USB-C directly through the hub. Or for bases like mine that don't play well with others, they also include a longer coiled 4-pin to standard USB to bypass the wheelbase and connect directly to the PC. Once connected, the controls are plug and play, but you'll need to do some work in Simhub to get the lights working. And that brings me to one of my new favorite things on the rig. So when you purchase the 911 Cup wheel, you also get access to Daniel Newman Racing Simhub Plugins, which I really wish I had checked out sooner, because as somebody who loves ambient lighting and dash screens and flags and everything, like the level of detail and just the stuff you can fine tune with this is absolutely awesome. So once you go into the devices area and add the VPG wheel in, your lights will start working. That takes effect immediately. But once you get the Daniel Newman plugin and go into your wheel, you actually get a lot more preset customizations that just look really cool. Like, I love the Gulf livery, always have. So for the time being, that's what I'm running. At some point, once I get all the buttons figured out and put the button stickers on and everything, I'll probably color them to match what the actual Cup car wheel is. But for right now, until then, I've been just enjoying this Gulf livery because I think it's cool. But you have so many preset options in here that you could do with the wheel, and of course, different functions you can tune. So like, let me go back to my Gulf livery. If you change your settings, you can make the lights blink. You can set it to where, let's say like button number 6, I can make it to where when I push it, it changes to a different color so I know it's active. So like for the pit limiter, if I wanted to change it to red so I know the pit limiter is active. But with Daniel Newman, when your pit limiter is active, you're going to know it anyways because everything goes crazy. So let me load in and show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. Now before I start the car, it's probably worth mentioning that most of the stuff that Daniel Newman offers, I'm sure you technically could program and tune on your own. But if you've ever tried to make a Simhub dash, you know how much time goes into just making one screen. And the way he's compiled everything just looks so streamlined and professional that it would take probably years to be able to do what he's done. And I just think it looks fantastic. So when I start the car, you guys will notice it went from ignition off to engine off. So it's basically telling me my ignition's on. I just need to hit the start button to get the car running. Obviously I could see that from the screen, but it just looks cool having it here. I've got my yellow pit light flashing, and as soon as I start the car, I get my animations over on the flag. And then when I turn on the pit limiter, you could see everything goes to blue. And we'll go ahead and drive out of the pit here. And then as far as other screens, the touchscreen's functional. Lap timer's got tons of telemetry data, maps, all that stuff. And same with my upper screen here. So I pretty much use the lap timer for the estimated lap times and everything, and that's perfectly good for me. I don't really need to do much up here or down here. Up here though, just so much data. I got racing positions, map, literally every bit of information you can need running up here on this screen. And I just think the whole combination is definitely worth it. Like the VPG wheel came with the free version. It took me probably all of 15 minutes before I'd gone through everything and decided I needed to upgrade and actually pay for the service because I was actually that impressed with it. And let me be clear, I had to pay for the wheel. I'm paying for the Daniel Newman service. None of this stuff was given to me to promote. This is just my experience that I'm having getting into this stuff right now as I'm trying to put the Cup car rig together and make this thing happen. Now up to this point, I've been hard pressed to find anything negative to say about the 911 Cup wheel, but here's the honest truth. The wheel is extremely overpriced for what it is. You're paying for the name and the authenticity, which for somebody who's building a replica Cup car, it was a perfect option for me. I don't regret purchasing it at all. But if you're not either a Porsche enthusiast or super passionate about racing the Porsche Cup car, then there's other wheels out there that'll perform exactly the same. They're high quality. They do everything that the 911 Cup wheel can do for less price. Now, like I said, I'm super happy with it. It's great quality, but it's not for everybody. And I know I went off on a little bit of a Daniel Newman tangent during this video, but here's the thing with that. If you're using flags, ambient lighting, DDUs, this is something that I actually highly recommend you guys check out. Like, doesn't matter what rig you're racing, doesn't matter what you're using. The screens, like the whole functionality of Daniel Newman Racing in Simhub is awesome. Like, that is something that I'm just kind of digging into myself, but I'm already so sold on it that I think everybody should at least try it. It's a monthly subscription. If you don't like it, cancel it. But just my thought, like, the guys out there putting in the work to make these awesome screens and all this stuff. I think it's cool, and I think I want to support him so that I could see what else he does, and I would encourage you guys to at least check it out. Speaking of supporting creators, if you guys are in the market for anything sim racing, make sure you check out the description. There's some affiliate links in there that help support the channel. As I mentioned, I'm not affiliated or connected with Daniel Newman or VPG Sim Racing, so neither one of those is in the description. If you guys are looking to shop either one of those, do so at will, but again, not any connection to me whatsoever. And now, with the wheel out of the way, there's some actually fun electronic stuff that I've been wanting to build for the rig that I can finally start working on. I'm also working on a few different concepts of a new dash for the rig. That's going to take a little bit longer, and there's a bit more of a process to it. But I don't want to give away what I have planned for the electronics yet, because this is going to be kind of fun. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you get the updates when the videos come out. And until next time, I'll see you out on the track.